Welcome to Is This for Kids? I'm Jonathan Bearded Blevins, dad of 3, and I find most media to be toxic marketed towards children.
I'm Katie, MrsRuvi. I am a mother of 5, and I think that most of the media out there in the world can be redeemed with the right kind of conversations.
Not this episode. Keep going.
Oh, man. The whole point of this podcast is for us to help parents to know what's in content so that they know what they would want to shield their kids from if it's stuff they don't want their kids encountering, what stuff they're never going to be able to avoid in the world that they can shepherd them through, and how they can share in this incredibly influential part of their kids' lives, which is their media. And today we are talking about arguably the worst movie ever.
What if I told you that we were going to get Cate Blanchett, Bobby Lee, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Hart, Benjamin Byron Davis, Jack Black, Haley Bennett, Charles Babalola, and others, and we were going to make a movie, and all you had to do was profit on this movie and get above a 60% approval rating? Do you think you could do it?
My goodness, how, with that cast, how could you miss?
I didn't even mention Stephen Boyer, Justin Price, Florian Montino. I think I said that wrong.
Jack Black and Kevin Hart alone should get you your comedy crowd. Cate Blanchett and Jamie Lee Curtis should get you anybody who's interested in kick-butt females. You should have everything you need to make a perfect movie.
And yet, the general consensus is that this is one of the worst movies ever made. Borderlands, is it for kids?
What are we going to shield our kids from in this movie? Now, here's the thing.
You want to give a little synopsis?
Yeah.
Because I can't wait to hear you do this.
Ugh. I'm gonna read it directly as I wrote it down, okay? And I wrote this immediately after getting home from the movie theater. I said, honest to goodness, I watched the whole movie and I still have no idea what was happening. So Lilith, the main character, returns to her home planet of Pandora with a daughter of Atlas that she's supposed to be out there finding. And she teams up with a group of misfit treasure hunter types in order to find a vault that is somewhere on Pandora to keep a dangerous weapon out of Atlas's hands.
Great job.
That's the best I can do for you. Literally how we got from the beginning to the end, I don't know.
I've never played Borderlands. I imagine that if you played Borderlands, you have a lot more knowledge of what all the different species and characters were throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. So when I talked to a lot of Borderlands players who saw the movie, they were pretty roundly disappointed. There were a few ha-ha moments, like Claptrap, the robot in the movie.
You mean R2-D2, but funnier?
Funny R2D2. Jack Black as R2D2. They thought he was great. And a lot of the lines that are in there that are very dumb, like nobody gets to kill me but me, are lines from the game. But for the most part, they felt like, I can't remember who it was that said it, but somebody, and they're going to be like, you didn't do that was me. Anyway, where they were like, it feels like they made a movie for gamers, but the people who made it had contempt for gamers. And so they made a movie they thought would appeal to some sort of fake gamer persona.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, I will say, in my personal opinion, I don't think the movie was marketed super well. I didn't even hear it was coming out until it came out. Kevin Hart's been on Twitch streams recently, didn't mention the movie as far as I saw. So he's had every chance to market this. Maybe he wasn't paid to do so. Maybe he doesn't have ownership in it like Ryan Reynolds, who's the genius marketer in Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was coming out, never played the video game, went into the movie a little bit more thinking it would be not as bad as everyone said it was. In the first 10 minutes, I was kind of like, oh man, I have to watch this whole entire thing. Shield. What would you shield your kids from in this movie?
So the crappiness of the movie is just bad storytelling and bad character development and just yeah. Okay, it's not terrible, but as far as S.H.I.E.L.D. is concerned, there's a lot of unkind language, a lot of stupids, name calling, being mean to people, shooting them when they're in the middle of a sentence.
Lots of swearing,
drinking, violence, explosions, and it's very, very loud. I would have fallen asleep in this movie, but for the fact that it was so loud.
Try being alone in this movie, by the way. It was me and one other dude.
Yeah.
But even the violence, yes, it's violent in that they shoot each other all the time.
Yeah.
And pretty quickly, actually, they're just ready to fight and kill. But there's not a ton of gore.
No, it's very PG-13 violence and comic book style violence. I wouldn't say it's the kind of thing that's gonna, if you were okay with Marvel, you'll probably be okay with this as far as the violence is concerned.
Agree.
The swearing is a lot more so than a Marvel movie typically would be. Not a terrible amount to shield in there. This is maybe a high school movie. As far as shielding is concerned, probably some middle schoolers would be okay. The shepherd thing, are there any concepts or things that came up in the movie for you that you felt like parents might want to walk their kids through?
Nope.
No, not really.
I mean, a movie like there's always something. So you can have a conversation with your kid about how it's important to deal with your wounds, right? There's a couple characters in there who like aren't really dealing with a lot of the clear hurts that are happening in their lives. One of the characters who ends up, spoiler alert, being the person who can open the vault. She had a broken relationship with her mom. She was upset because her mom was always chasing this thing that she thought maybe didn't even exist. Turns out she's the key the whole time, and her mom left her a message. You meet her in the very beginning of the movie. She's clearly a very disturbed person who has not dealt with any of that. So you could shepherd your kid through good conversations about how it's important not to bottle up your emotions and that we need to deal with things, I suppose.
I definitely said that in a meaner way in my notes where I was like, there's something, just maybe a conversation we had there about overcoming your past and not being such a freaking drama queen about it. But like, if you think your parents wronged you, maybe don't start an Instagram channel about it. Instead, go talk to your mom. Like, her
mom died though. So.
But her mom died. So
just kidding.
She couldn't do that. This is not a deep movie. This is very much it wanted to be a popcorn movie that like you could watch as not even as a family, like as a gamer dude.
Bad Transformers.
She just didn't do a good job.
Transformers is a great popcorn movie.
You know how Michael Bay makes really loud movies?
Yeah.
It was that. It was
I've never
none of the interesting plot points.
Fun fact, I've never seen any Godzillas ever. Like I've just never seen a Godzilla movie, and I think or King Kong.
Sure.
And now they're apparently in the same movies. They fight each other and stuff, I think.
All right.
Anyway, I imagine that it's like that. Like it's supposed to be really cool to sit back, watch, and just eat popcorn and chill.
Yeah, it felt like it wanted to be a popcorn movie, but it just fell flat. Sharing, like we're always on the lookout here on this podcast for ways that you can use media to grow in a relationship with your kid, what you can consume together, what is a good big screen TV show, or are there any things to do with the culture and society that you might want to know that are in this? What'd you think? Yeah, no. Sorry. There's just not much in there. We've talked about this on the podcast before. You've never seen Mystery Science Theater 3000.
No.
If you were ever going to sit in Mystery Science Theater 3000, a movie with your kids, this would be a great one. Mystery Science Theater 3000 is a show where this guy gets shot into space by his boss, blah, blah, blah. Okay. He builds some robots and they just sit in front of old movies and make fun of them.
Yeah.
And so you watch these terrible old movies and just make jokes the entire time, which is cool. The only thing that I took away from this that's maybe culturally relevant that you might want to know about, because it comes up in about 20,000 other movies and TV shows that have a kick-butt female lead. Her name is always Lilith. Like, Lilith comes up constantly. Do you know anything about Lilith?
Nope.
Okay, so that's
I just know that Tomb Raider's not named Lilith.
That's true. That's the name of the main character in, do you remember that Has Been Hotel movie that went out for a while there? Like it was a TV show on Amazon Prime and everybody was losing their mind on the internet about like, it's a thing that tries to say that God is the bad guy and the devil's actually the good guy trying to give everybody free will.
No.
That main character's name was Lilith. People will try to tell you that in the Bible, Lilith was Adam's original wife, and that according to Jewish folklore, back in the day, Adam's first wife was Lilith, but she refused to submit to him. And so God killed her off and replaced her. Anybody who's read the Bible will tell you that's not in there.
It didn't happen.
That did not happen. That is not part of it. The first written thing about Lilith comes up in the Middle Ages in a novel that was written about her. And even then, she was a demon. A little bit of a demon and not a wife of Adam. So it's not something that like somebody's religion pulled aside to keep women down, but the term comes up kind of constantly in culture right now. It's a very like sort of Reddit atheist thing to throw out there, this Lilith concept. So maybe be on your guard for that if you are a person of faith that finds those kinds of things offensive. But there you go.
I will just give you a list, top of my head, of movies that were based off of video games that maybe they weren't good either, but they were better than Borderlands.
Okay.
Tomb Raider.
Yes.
Tomb Raider 2.
Yep.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
100%.
Street Fighter. Any Pokemon. And Tron.
Detective Pikachu was very good.
Yeah. That was actually really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of...
No, that's a great, like if you want to engage in a video game movie with your kid, I wouldn't pick this one, but that's a great list.
Thank you.
That's a fantastic thing to include. I'm so proud of you for coming up with it. Because really, this is one of those movies that we were like, we want to tell parents what's in it, but honestly, save the money. Yep. Unless you've got that unlimited membership, it's not gonna be worth it to you. If people will have more questions about other content that's coming out right now, where could they find it? isthisforkids.com will take you everywhere that you need to go. And we are very open to your feedback and to suggestions that you have, both parenting that has nothing to do with media or parenting and anything to do with media in the media world. Yeah, we've talked about, cell phones, and we've got episodes coming out about Twitch and all sorts of stuff. So definitely let us know what you want to hear about. But there's just so much media out there for us to consume as parents.
I'm Jonathan Beard of Blevins.
I'm Katie, MrsRuvi. Let us help you decide.
Is this for kids?